All right, welcome to the Hunt the Lion podcast. I'm not sure what episode number we're on right now, but it is November 16th, 2025. Our first episode was videoed. Used to say videotaped back in Kelly and I's generation. I don't remember what. Videotaped. But this one is live. It is on video. We have some cameras in here, so thank you to the crew who's putting that together. Isaiah, Cameron, and Nathaniel. Huge thank you to them. And we also have we have a new thing that we're gonna have to figure out how to start this with, since we're all so tech savvy. We haven't figured it out yet, but somebody made us a Hunt the Lion theme song. So can't wait to share that about Benaiah. Oh yeah. All right. So when we get that figured out, that's gonna add a whole new level there. So thank you to the guys that put that together for us. We'll give them some credit when we get that figured out and get that on there. So we've got Sean Randalls, Taylor Bars, Kelly Sparlin, and we got Mr. Tyler Alexander. And 4 out of 5 of us got to hang out last night. We were missing our compadre last night. Want to thank everybody who came out. My wife and I have the nonprofit Sunrise Family Support, free Christian counseling for the community. Kelly, we're going to trust that you had big, serious plans last night.
I could not.
You couldn't make it?
Nope.
Okay.
My plans were huge.
Okay. Well, you've been. They probably involved sweats and slippers in a game or something.
Fuzzy Crocs.
Yes. There you go. So, but no, thank you guys for coming out. I know, Kelly, you've been there and supported us before, so we appreciate that. I do want to say before I forget, I've been meaning to do this for the. I think we've got a couple of listeners out there. We appreciate both of you. If you've been listening, we appreciate both listeners. We do want to say, if you listen and repost this on social media, we have the Game Changers on Instagram and on Facebook and all that. If you repost it, we will pick a winner, give away a couple swag packs, give you a Game Changers hat and Hunt the Lion t-shirt. Tyler said he's got a couple double XLs in there that he's going to throw in for you as the person who's in charge of the merch there. So. All right, before we get started, I do think it would be important for us to take care of a couple of fun things. I think we should get a bear count from Taylor. How many bears did you kill this week?
None this week, but we've got 11 this year.
11 on the season. Okay. So you were not involved in the one that I got pictures of in the middle of the night from some guys here at Edgewater?
I was. We caught that one.
Okay. You just said you didn't kill any this week.
Well, that
one didn't count. Okay, that one doesn't count.
You're like, I saw you in a picture, Taylor. That was a dead giveaway. That was you, bud.
So there's some guys here in the community. Some we'll just call them game changers. There was a night I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I've had a few long days. Got to get up early the next day, and they call me with the Hunt the Lion theme song playing, and they're sending me videos of them skinning a bear. And Taylor's name was brought up. So the guys that did that, I appreciate you, and thanks. That was fun. You did wake me up and provide some entertainment. So just for the record, nobody here was involved in that. So, all right, we're heading into Thanksgiving week. If you are an Edgewater listener, same service on Wednesday night, same times, I should say, but it will be a Thanksgiving service. Come join us. We usually have Pennington pies, and we have like some great soups, and it's a really kind of fun, just family-type night, so join us that night. And then our turkey bowl, put on by the Game Changers, will be the next morning at 8:30, so bring the family out for that, wives, kids, hot chocolate, and some pulled hammies here and there. Kelly and Taylor were already scheming to just be full-time QBs. Is that what I heard?
I'm not opposed.
Okay. Yeah, stand there, sling it. And we should make Tyler run around, since I think he might be the youngest in the crew.
Starting center.
You
Go
are the
deep.
youngest, aren't you?
I'm going to snap it so well.
Go deep. So, okay, with Thanksgiving coming up, you guys, we've got kids all across the spectrum here, all kinds of different ages. We know as Christian dads and dads who are following the Bible and teaching our children to also follow the Bible. And one of the main things for us as believers is to have gratitude in all circumstances. And I love Thanksgiving because it's such a great time to really put an emphasis on that and really maybe even examine our own hearts and just really try to teach that to our kids. So for you guys as dads, How do you teach your kids to be grateful? How do you teach them gratitude and how to be thankful? Especially, I mean, Tyler, you've got some real little ones. Stella's super young. Sean, you've got young kids. What are some things that you guys are doing in your home right now to help them?
The main thing for us is our nightly prayers. Is we really focus because our kids are so little. We just say thank you to God. That's our nightly prayers in bed. We do it every night. We've taught our kids to go through. It starts with my oldest, and then my middle, and then youngest, and my wife and myself, and we just say what we're thankful for that day. And that's just every day. That's just a standard protocol for us. So my kids are just used to just thanking God on a daily basis.
Great way to end the day.
It really is.
Yeah. Taylor, Sean, you guys have little ones?
Well, we actually pray very similarly. It's just like, Lord, thank you for our family. Thank you for all these things. And I think that's really important to practice that mindset. So just keep it simple and thank the Lord.
Yeah. Prayer.
Yeah, we do the nightly prayers too every night, and we actually let our 4-year-old Stella tell us who's praying next. So she's like, no, Dad, it's you first, or it's Mom first, and then you can't get by her. She calls it out.
Okay.
And yeah, it's so funny. But then she'll go roundabout sometimes just praying. I love what Matt said at church this morning. He talked about being direct with your prayers, and he said all the prayers in the Bible were super short. Like the Lord's Prayer was like 38 words or something.
Yeah.
And it's like when I catch one of my kids just rambling and just going the same prayer every night, I'm not hard on them, but I'm like, I said, hey, let's think. I try to be fun and be like, hey, let's think about something that we can be thankful for, or pray for something different tonight, like something that you've never prayed for. And I kind of challenge them in that way. But we don't really have a routine of just being thankful. On another subject, because my 9-year-old, she's always ungrateful. And we're trying.
We're just calling it out.
We're just calling it out, man.
Yeah.
We're going through a
She's
struggle.
probably not a big listener of the Hunt the Lion podcast.
If she was, it's almost like in my house right now. It's a daily battle. My daughter, as she's almost 10, and we'll go to an event or anything with her friends like all weekend, and then the next day she's like, "Well, what are we doing after church? Where are we going? What are we gonna do that's fun?" Like. Right after school, she's like, "Where am I?" Like, if I pick her up from school, where are we going today? When am I going to hang out with my friends? I'm like, can't you just be thankful for like what we're doing right now? Or like, it's so hard. She's getting that preteen mentality, and that's kind of where we're struggling with one of my kids.
Yeah. Remind me what age Sydney is.
Oh, she'll be 10 here in January.
Yeah. Okay. So Kelly, teenagers. So it's a little different in that regard. So how do you guys deal with gratitude and giving thanks and all of that with kids, teenagers?
I've been pretty lucky because I'm fairly new. Well, I'm new back into my faith and walking as a biblical leader. But I said this before, like I'm trying to cram 18 years of parenting or biblical fatherhood into like 3 years. But we've been pretty lucky. Like we have a couple of our kids, when they had birthdays, when they were like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11, we would ask what they want. And both of the twins agreed that they wanted all their birthday presents to be donations for the animal shelter. Like on their own. Like we didn't prompt them. They just asked for that. So they were grateful for everything they already had, and they just wanted to help out like animals or whatever. And I've just always kind of been lucky in that area.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Like I was not taught that I know of.
Yeah.
But there are times like we have checked selfishness, because selfishness is like the battle for gratitude. Right? You're fighting to give someone else gratitude or give yourself gratitude. So like when we would go down to the homeless shelter and take things down there, that really forces them to see their life through different eyes. And now they're a lot more grateful for the life they do have. But as far as like daily, nightly things, we're kind of at a point where, we're trying, but I don't think there's any one thing that we do that creates that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, just God's favor, God's grace for you guys. So for us, our kids, obviously, all three are in college now. We were very, very intentional about a lot of things to try to create some gratitude and some humility, help them to see that they had a lot to be thankful for. We did missions trips that they could partake in that were geared towards family things. I think Avery was 3 when she went on her first missions trip to Mexico. We served in some really, really poor areas of Mexico. I like literally like plywood, look like dog sheds that people were living in. So it was really good for our kids to see that. Of course, the boys would have been 6 and 9, I think. We went to some churches there that were barely bigger than this room and helped the boys, helped pour concrete in there, and just served in whatever way they could. And then they played with the other kids, and they got to see the local kids in this Mexico village, just how happy they were. They had like a ball. That was it. And they were all happy. And my kids and them could not communicate with each other in language, but nonverbal they could. And they would just laugh together, and they had a great time. But the impact that it had on them, for them to see what other kids had, to this day, my son, instead of saying I'm starving, he says I'm American starving. Like, he understands there's a difference. Like, I'm American starving, Mom, so I'm pretty hungry. I'm not like actually starving, so exposing them to that. And then a couple of things that really are not as hard of a thing to do, like go to Mexico, or like we took our kids to Puerto Rico to serve at an orphanage down there and stuff. And those kind of things had a big impact on them when they were younger. But we also, during the holidays especially, it breaks my heart to see like some of the older people that are in nursing homes and they have nobody coming to see them. We all baked cookies and got in the kitchen as a family, baked some cookies. And then we went to some nursing homes, and we just asked, like, who is it that doesn't have anybody that comes to see them? And they would say, this person or this person, and we would go in there, and they're just in there by themselves. They're just alone during the best time of the year. And we have all this stuff going on, and they have nothing going on. And so we would go in there and take cookies, and, these older people are sitting telling stories that are, our kids are just listening to these stories like, what are they talking about? But it taught them to put other people first. Like, stop your schedule for a minute. It's not about you and your sports or you and your games. This person is talking. They're alone. You have a lot to be thankful for. You can just sit and listen right now. And so that was impactful. And then I also, couple other things that we did to really get the focus this time of year off of themselves and on other people is we would tell them, instead of them getting a present, we're like, you're going to get one less present this year, which I don't think we actually did that. We just told them that. You're going to get one less present, but I want you to pick out a family that we could anonymously, without them knowing, go shop for them and then take it and drop it off without them knowing. And so we would find out through the schools or through the church. And then we say, hey, there's this 12-year-old, they're kind of going through a rough time right now and they need a coat, and so we would sit, whoever was 12 or whatever in our family, you pick this out for them. And you got to know, like, this means you're getting one less present, and they loved it. Like, there was no like, oh no, like I'm getting one less thing. They were like, you could see, just like all of us, it really, really is so much better to give than it is to receive. They got so excited about doing that. And then also a couple families that were in a hard time where we put giant gift bags together and we would go drop them off on their porch without them knowing. We just ring the doorbell and run, and they thought that was super fun. Although one time somebody saw us, a neighbor saw us. What are you doing? It started coming over. I'm like, run. We're running through the dark in this neighborhood. We're doing something good, but like this guy's like, what's going on? So there's all kinds of fun little things that you can do with your family, with your kids like that, age-appropriate things that I think it's really important. It teaches them to get their minds off themselves. Like you guys were saying, like you can't be selfish when you're thinking of others and being grateful and stuff. So all kinds of good ideas. If you're listening right now and you've got some good ideas that you could share with people, post those things or comment or let us know, and we'll share those things as well. Any other final thoughts on teaching your kids to be grateful? Thanksgiving? Okay, I've got another important question then for you guys. This one's really important. So moving past Thanksgiving, when is the appropriate time to set up for Christmas, start decorating, get the Christmas tree, either get it out or go get it in the woods, put it up, put up the lights? When is the appropriate time?
December 1st.
December 1st, okay.
If it was my wife's choice, it would be yesterday.
November 1st?
Yeah. And I'm like, no, Thanksgiving matters and it's its own time. December is the month for Christmas.
Okay. December 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is literally a battle in my house.
Okay.
Like,
what side of the fence?
When I say a battle, I mean my two sons will wrestle, and whoever taps first, the other one gets to decide.
I love it. That's awesome.
Like that, right? If it was up to one of my middle boys, we would have started Christmas the day after Halloween. Like, we're going to get a tree, we're cutting it, we're putting it up. And
Which boy is that?
That's Lucas.
Lucas, okay.
Yeah, he's my middle.
Uh-huh.
And Jackson's a little more like, well, we still got like you said, Thanksgiving matters.
There's order here.
And that's like our favorite one anyway, because we like to eat, right?
Yeah.
Like and
who doesn't?
Like, we can't just blow over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that's a scrap in our house.
Okay. I love it. So where do you and Trista fall on it? You guys pretty neutral or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be hard against it, but I've softened up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor, what about you guys?
I think right after Thanksgiving.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would usually go get a tree right after that.
Yeah.
And yeah, celebrate Thanksgiving. Like I think we should always look for opportunities to be thankful.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah. Sean?
Yeah, at our house, my Christmas lights were up November 1st, so I've got all you guys beaten. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
My wife even took a picture of me putting them up, but it's like my wife will be like, hey, the first nice day, let's put the Christmas lights up when it's not raining. So like November 1st happened to be a day where it was sunny. And every year or two, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to put Christmas lights up this year. And she's like, yeah, right. You know you will. And so the Christmas lights are up, and they weren't on because, we won't turn them on until like December 1st. Well, they've been on the last few nights, so I've already lost that battle.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Way to hold the line, Sean.
Yeah, I was holding the line, and then it was for years like, we're going to cut a tree. Now we have a fake tree. So it's just, I'm pretty easygoing, so I don't really care.
How can you live in Southern Oregon and have a fake tree?
I know. Hey, I went out and cut trees. We are at a fake tree now, and it's just like, whatever, man.
Hey.
I'm just here to please whatever.
It is so nice.
It is nice.
A few years ago, we went to Home Depot, like right before New Year's or whatever, 75% off. I mean, like $600, like really nice, real-looking trees, $100 or less. So we got a couple of those, one for the front, one for the back. We've done that for 5 years, and we're like, yeah, I think we're done with this. Here's why we did it, though. So I am November 1st guy. Like, let's do it all together. I think, like, yeah, we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving, but to me, like, being thankful and, like, Jesus' birth, like, I can wrap it all together. Like, to me, it's just it's a great season, right? So if we're going to put a tree up November 1st, I'm like, it's got to last till, like, January 10th in our house, right? So those needles are drying out pretty quick.
Here's another talk. How long do you leave them up for? January 10th?
The Sunday that kids go back to school, the Sunday before the kids go back to school. So it's probably not the 10th. That's a little bit of an exaggeration.
You should just plant a tree.
That's a great idea.
Was this a potted plant? Yeah, this is my Christmas
That's a
tree.
great idea. That's a great idea.
Yeah, you're talking about over a sixth of the year you have a Christmas tree up in your home.
Well, the lights and stuff too. Yeah, we love it. Yeah, we love it. So, in fact, I'm probably like you guys. You guys are all really competitive. You look down the street and you're like, oh, he added that.
Oh, I can beat that.
Oh, he added that?
Full on Griswolds.
Oh, well, let me head down to Home Depot. Tyler and Taylor are like, nah.
Dude, my dad used to do that in Arizona. We had this huge cactus in the front that was just all decorated cactus.
Yeah. That's awesome, actually. That would be fun. So, all right. So it sounds like the majority of you, aside from Sean and I, are after Thanksgiving. That's fair. That's fair. Do you guys, I got a question for you now, like leading your families and leading your kids, talked about Thanksgiving. Do you guys have a kind of like biblically, is there like scripture? Do you guys have like an Advent theme? Is there like any discussions that you have with your kids going into that season? Because for us, we started when the kids were young. And if you haven't done this, highly recommend it to any parents out there listening. We would do Advent. And I think for a long time, I grew up Catholic, pictured Advent being the chocolate behind the door. You open the date, and you pull out the candy. And it wasn't until I became a pastor, I don't know, 15 years ago or whatever, and really was looking at like really solid biblical Advent studies. Like, man, this is so much more than what I realized it is. Like the Advent studies that you can do with your kids are amazing. And so we have one that we do with our kids. Even as adults, we try to, read through some of the stuff leading up to Christmas. But in Isaiah 11, a central theme that is really great, highly recommend this for families looking for something to just kind of platform off of. Isaiah 11, prophetic in verse 1, there shall come forth a shoot from the stump of Jesse, and a branch from his roots shall bear fruit, and the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of Yahweh. So a great launching point for parents to talk about the prophecy of the coming Messiah, King Jesus. And then there's some great studies. If anybody's looking for resources, please reach out. I'd be happy to share some stuff with you for younger and older. So you guys, you or your wives have any kind of central themes, and talk about Thanksgiving, but then you talk about Christmas too. I mean, giving and selflessness is a big part of it as well. So
yeah, for our house, my wife and I are actually super intentional. In our house, Santa Claus doesn't exist. Okay. Christmas is not about Santa. We don't celebrate Santa. We don't put up Santa. It's about Jesus. Yeah. Our kids know, like, the reason we celebrate Christmas is Jesus. It's not because of a guy in a red suit.
Mm-hmm.
So my kids are real young, so we just make sure they know, like, we're celebrating Jesus. This is who it's about. And the world will highlight the guy in the red suit, but we do not.
Yeah. I respect it. I like it. I remember getting to a point where we were like, early on, we didn't really like consider the impact of that. And we got a few years in and we're like, oh, we're in now. Like this is what we're doing. And we really started to just kind of fade back from that. And Santa was still obviously a part of like the holiday, but really became like a big background to it. Like we had some friends that would rent a Santa and have like a little Christmas party with the kids and cookies. They were Christians and it was all still, big emphasis on Jesus and everything, but that was a part of it. And so we kind of were in that for early days and then we really kind of faded it. So
do you guys have any, I gotta be careful how I word this.
Okay.
The way that you run your house on Christmas, right? But you invite other people over, like grandparents, like aunts and uncles. But how do you handle if like an aunt or uncle or a grandparent does something that's like totally different than what you guys normally do or what you think is appropriate and like goes way overboard on whatever, right? Like, let's say gift giving, right? Let's say she shows up with like a dually full of presents for kids that are from Santa and their kids are teenagers and know that it's not from Santa, right? Like,
gotcha. Okay.
And we tell them, we're like, they don't need anything, right?
Yeah.
So they'll ask us, what do the kids want or what do they need? And we're like, they don't really need anything. Give them like a gift card or whatever for the movies. And she shows up with literally a truck full of stuff that ends up being gone again in a month. Like, how do you guys handle all that stuff?
I just tell, because my grandparents, aunts, uncles, people will ask, hey, what do the kids want? And we're like, nothing. They don't need anything else, literally. But, they still maybe get them something. And we're like, we don't need anything. The kids don't need anything else. Seriously. We're going to give stuff away to other people. Like, we don't need it. But that happens. It just, I don't think we can even resist or stop that in our family. Like, my grandma, somebody's going to say, well, we're going to get them something. And I don't know. We take it and we haven't been able to prevent it.
I agree. A little something's cool. But
Taylor, do you have thoughts on this? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think some people, they just love giving gifts.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say, yeah, like be thankful, appreciate what they've done for you.
Yeah.
I personally, like, I've always loved Christmas. I
Yeah.
love buying gifts. And whenever possible, I like, cause our kids are young. I'm like, if you want to do something for them, take them to go do something.
Yeah.
Go get ice cream with them. Go take them to a movie. Like, go spend time with them. Cause, go make a memory. Like, they have a lot of stuff because we're super blessed. And it's hard because it's like, I remember when I just had a niece, right? And you're like, oh, what can we buy them?
Yeah.
Because you just love them, and it's an outpouring of that. And yeah, there's stuff that's crap, and we just kind of slowly phase that out because they get so much stuff because they have a lot of people that love them, and you just slowly phase that out. But it's like, if you really want to do something, like, go take them to do something.
Yeah.
That's good.
Emphasis on the experience for sure. I 100% agree with that. That's a great thing. And sometimes with our families, we would do, like with cousins, nieces, nephews, it would be like full day at the Family Fun Center, miniature golf, like that's what their gift was. And then pizza out at a restaurant or something, so that they could share in some experience. Our kids have always enjoyed that too, when that's the case. I think you're right. Like, you don't want to, like Kelly's saying, like, you're like, what is all this? This is like crazy. But also, like you're saying, like, some people just like to give gifts, and, 1 Corinthians 9, Paul says, I'm not calling these people weak, but Paul's talking about just being able to relate to people. He says, to the weak, I become weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all people so that by all means I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessing. And so there are certain things that, while we might not do it in our house, we would say, let's not take that from them. Let's let them go ahead and enjoy that. And I even experienced this as a dad. There was a time when our kids were younger, probably around Sydney's age, I would say, maybe like upper elementary, where I would just tell my wife would be like, what do you want the kids to get you for Christmas? And I was like, oh, like, I just want to spend it on them. And like, or, like, times are tight right now. Dad's just a pastor. Mom's not working, she's watching kids. And it's like, just make it small socks or whatever, And I started to realize, like, I was taking away a really fun experience for the kids. And so I just was like, you know what? This is the budget that they have. I don't want that. I don't want you to spend this money on me, but I also don't want to take this experience away from the kids. And so I was like, here's how much they have. You take them. Don't tell them anything that I want. I want them to pick out things for me that they think their dad wants. I don't want to influence that in any way. And it was so, like, some of the sweetest things that I've ever seen the kids do is just like, they spent their $20 or $50, whatever it was, on the thing that they thought their dad would really like, And one of my boys one year was really funny. I guess it was funny. He bought me some camo Duck Dynasty underwear. Thanks, Owen. That's awesome, buddy. So
exactly what you needed.
Yeah, right. I know. I'm like, but still, like, that's just his personality, and I loved it. Like, that just stuck out. Like, that's just our relationship. It was super funny, but like, so yeah. I mean, it's really cool when people think about other people and want to make a sacrifice financially in a gift, whatever, for somebody else. So,
well, that's also like love languages.
Totally.
Right? Like, some people's love language is giving gifts.
Giving gifts.
I totally understand.
Yep.
Totally get that.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I would encourage the dads out there, if you have principles or standards that you have in your house that you don't want to compromise on, don't, just because someone else buys you a gift. My family, my nieces and stuff have things like iPads. We don't do screens for our little kids in our house. That's something that so my parents know if they buy my kids something with a screen, it's either getting thrown out or donated. Like, I'm not going to have that in my house because that's something that I care about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. So, okay. And now kind of shifting gears here, a couple of topics that we were discussing beforehand. I don't know if we'll have time for both of them. One thing that was big in the news that maybe we'll come back to at some point because it's going to be an ongoing discussion is what happened this last week at Biola University. head of the counseling department coming out in support of a ban on conversion therapy. 23 states in the United States have a ban on conversion therapy. Oregon had theirs beginning 10 years ago, which is crazy. And so for those that don't know what conversion therapy is, it's a minor who might be struggling with their sexual identity. A licensed counselor or therapist is not allowed to have a conversation with them that would talk them out of those beliefs. So we can come back to this, or are there any initial thoughts on this? I think it's going to be an ongoing discussion. Kelly and I have spouses that are in that world. Taylor has a mother-in-law that's in that world. To me, the bigger issue that I think we as believers are aware of is the government trying to limit free speech in areas of religion. I think that is the biggest concern out of it. And the sexuality thing just kind of gets wrapped into it as a sympathetic thing. Look at what the Christians are doing. But the bigger thing is trying to prevent the truth of God's word from going forth. So any initial thoughts on that, or does this one come back to this one?
Well, I think tactically they just want to, like you're saying, slowly, change the narrative,
Yeah.
And what's interesting is it's like you're going to a counselor because you believe something to be broken. And they're saying, well, that's fine, but you can only encourage them in what they think is broken because they're seeing a counselor.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a whole lot of things happening in this, right? Like, it's almost as if they're saying one thing, but like we all know they're meaning something else, like redefining what sin means.
Yes.
Right? Like they're trying to we can't just outright ban Christianity in counseling, but what we can do is we can tailor it towards what we want, the agenda that we want to push. And it's, man, I could think of 13 or 14 different things that's wrong with this thing, but it depends on how deep you want to get into that.
Yeah. So, when you think about it, it's so the sticking point they're saying is you can't say that they're wrong. So you can't talk them out of what their beliefs are. But by implementing that law, you're saying I'm wrong. Isn't that interesting? You're saying that I have a wrong belief and I cannot share that with somebody else. So when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, one side is allowed that freedom and the other side is not. So the Supreme Court is in discussion, deliberations, writing, all that stuff about it. There hasn't been a ruling, but the sticking point is coming out of Colorado, and Biola is under microscope right now because as a very well-known conservative Christian, highly ranked conservative Christian university, they have somebody on their staff who's very outspoken in support of the ban that Colorado instituted. So they're catching flack right now. So that's something to follow. Let's talk a little bit about one of the topics that came up this morning when it comes to dads and moms and education and expectations and schooling and all that stuff. Tyler, you were talking about that before we started.
Yeah, so my oldest is in kindergarten at Rogue Christian Academy, and there definitely was, I was surprised with the school year started. It's a very rigorous academic. They have very high standards. And she would come home upset some days because, her time, she's in kindergarten, her timed math addition sheet, she was too slow.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And so we worked with her. And at first, before we talked to the teacher, there's a natural instinct, especially with moms and dads, to be protective of your child. Be like, oh, well, if she's struggling that much, well, then it's because they're not doing a good job, or But my wife was almost second guessing having her there, but I'm like, let's take our time, let's see, let's let her adapt. It's a lot. And we spoke to the teacher. We had our quarterly, the thing they do every quarter where you meet with the teacher, and she said, we just talked to her, what is the standard? What are you trying to accomplish? And they said, yes, we're going to hold the kids to a super high standard, and they're going to struggle at first. And so we let our daughter struggle, instead of saying, okay, well, we're going to pull you out or we're going to homeschool. And we just worked with her more at home. She used flashcards and helping her in the sense of, like, you're going to have to work your way through it. We'll help you work through it, but you got to work your way through it. And now she's thriving. And so just that idea of, you know, how much do you let your kids struggle, particularly in not just academics, but in life? I think it's important for kids to struggle. And if you don't let them struggle at all, I just don't think it leads to good outcomes.
Kelly?
I feel like this is also, there could be some age not disparity, but some age. When I was a kid and how we were treated, Matt even talked about this morning about, you know, in the 70s and 80s, like the spankings were prevalent everywhere.
My principal had a paddle on the wall behind her desk.
Yeah. Like that
we were afraid of it. Yeah.
That was a real thing when I was in school. I remember those things.
Highland Elementary, man.
And I can't even imagine, like nowadays, the drift that has occurred in this area, right? Like we don't allow them to struggle. And they do everything. I don't want to say a lot of people, but helicopter parents and people that, even certain teachers, right? Their goal is to make it so the kids don't struggle. Like that's literally the goal, is so that the kids don't struggle.
Gentle parenting.
Well, it's not
There's
even
the
parenting.
gentle
It could be
parenting.
teaching.
Teaching too. Yeah.
It's really scary because I think one of the hardest things as a parent is to define how much you let your kids struggle. A guy I really respect, his name's Brad Sharp, he said one of the hardest things you'll ever do as a parent is make your kids work really hard for something you could easily give them.
Oh, yeah.
And teaching your kid how to work hard and teaching them that it's a good thing to work hard and to struggle, I think will develop a mindset that is infinitely more valuable than most things in life that will make you successful. If there's a book this gal wrote on grit, and they did a study, and basically the highest achieving people had the most grit. It's not natural ability, not any of those things. It's, are you willing to grind? And if it's hard, is there a problem, or is it just something you got to figure out and overcome?
Absolutely. Yeah. So James 1, verses 2 through 4, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. Let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. We talked about it last week with the suffering in the weight room. You know, like there's a theme in the Bible. Like it's okay to go through these things. You know, we say here as a staff all the time, like hard is not bad. Like we don't need to rescue ourselves or our kids from every little thing that is happening in their life. So, man, I mean, I remember watching my kids varsity sports at Grants Pass High School. They're starter, they're involved in the offense, and then they're not, you know, somebody else is, and it's like back and forth, and you have to still show up and grind and get your spot back and do this and, you know, get your shots or get your catches or get your, you know, and you have to let them work through that. You know, as a parent, like you want to, oh man, you know, what's going on here? What happened? But it's like, hey man, you want it? Like, go get it. Like, I'm not here to rescue you. The only thing I would ever, like, for those of you that have kids that play sports, and almost all of us in here have coached some level, Kelly just finished a season. The only thing I ever asked coaches was, please just communicate with my kids. You tell them where they're at, tell them what they need to do, or what they did good, you know, is fine, but also like what they need to improve on, more importantly, and those kind of things. But it was never like make it easier on them. That was never the case. And honestly, like they don't want that. No kid wants to be pandered to. They can see right through it. So one of the things I want to talk about, I don't know if you guys have read Bad Therapy by Abigail Schreier. Have you guys read Bad Therapy? Highly recommend it. I want to tell you guys at the end of it what they talk about, gentle parenting versus some parenting that happens in the East. Sean, did you want to add something first?
Oh, I was just going to talk about when I was a kid getting suspended from school, middle school, and my dad, you'd come home and you weren't going to sit in the house all day. It was, I'm locking the doors and you're sitting out in the front yard with a bucket and you're pulling weeds all day until I get home. And that's literally what happened.
Yeah.
So it was no free pass here.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you got, later on, if I ever share my testimony, but later on, it's like, you go to jail, ain't bailing you out. Dad would say, the world's going to kick your butt. And if you want to go out and live your own way, you're going to find the hard way. And so it wasn't like, you're not getting bailed out of jail if you go. Like, who are you going to call? It's like, you put yourself here. So I have people when they say, like, you should come bail my family member out of jail, or some guy from church went to jail and their parents are like, we should get him out. And it's like, he's going to sit there. And actually, that's what's going to happen. And no one, because I just had a guy that asked if we could bail him out of jail. And it was like, even one of the pastors here asked me one time, hey, can we go bail this guy out of jail? I was like, no, they got themselves in there. You got to learn the hard way. We're not just going to bail you out. And there's just, I mean,
off camera, you got to tell me what pastor it was.
Yeah, off camera, I'll tell you that. So I just think having tough love like that growing up, and like, you're suspended from school. Yeah, let's just sit home all day and play some video games. It's like, no, I'm locking the doors. You're out in the yard all day pulling buckets of weeds for 8 hours. It's like, that's what you're going to do. And that kind of taught me, like, oh, this is no joke. And when I wanted to go live my own way in the world, Dad and them were like, sorry, you made your own bed. You lay in it, and then you got to find your way out.
Yeah. Yeah, so moms, I think you guys, Tyler was touching on it, like what was a part of the message this morning. Moms by nature are nurturers. That's their God-given role. They're to nurture the kids and the family. And that is most important and most needed in those early days. And then they start to transition out of the home and into the classroom settings where they're learning some worldly things and how to conduct themselves. And more than ever, the dads are needed in that world to say the nurturing phase is going away now. And it's time for dad here to help them navigate these difficult things. So,
yeah, if I would have had a single mom at home during those times in my life, mom would have just been like, oh, yeah, it's okay, son, come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dad was the other side of that, like Matt said this morning, was the balance of the mom and dad.
Yeah.
Was so key.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what's interesting in Japan, when you guys read the book Bad Therapy, they talk about in Japan, they let kids 3 years old Kelly lived in Japan. Maybe he's seen or heard of some of these things. They would put a little flag on their back like you would on a bike, and they would send them to walk to the market with a bag to buy things at the market and walk home. No mom at this church that we know or in this town would let their 3-year-old walk down to one of the markets to buy milk or something like that, But they've taught them. They invested in the kids. They taught them the path to go on. They taught them, they've got a little flag so they can follow and see where they're at or whatever, and they go down and do that. And they learn to just get out there in the real world, right? And then the other thing they do in their schools, on the playground, they have a couple of features about the playgrounds is they've got areas where adults can't see what's going on. They have it positioned and like blocked off where there's a play area for kids under 10 to play and nobody can see. No adult can see, I should say. Can you imagine the potential like freak out from parents in the United States or like lawsuits or like, you're not watching my, like all that stuff? They were like, kids need to learn how to figure things out without adults coming in and rescuing every single situation. And then for the little kids, they have these little like fake like brooks and streams like you might see in a landscaped yard with some like rocks and a little bit of water. And the kids are able to like jump and walk across the rocks and like figure out how to balance and like risk like falling in 4 inches of water and getting wet. Like they're learning how to like navigate potential dangers, it's not really a danger, but a potential danger for a 4-year-old or whatever, and what they would do and how they get through it and stuff. And they're building what we talk about all the time, resilience. And we need more of that. We have gone so far in the other direction in protecting our kids that we now not only protect them physically, but what else is it that we protect them from? What
emotional trauma?
Yeah, their feelings, right? Oh my gosh, you can't say that word because that will hurt their feelings. Like that is hate speech or, so we've gone so far in protecting kids that it has gotten to that point, so.
Because I grew up as a missionary's kid, being in Africa a lot, in Asia and different parts of the world, like I remember in Kenya, Matt talked this morning about how becoming a man in Kenya and the Maasai and all that. I've been hunting with the Maasai. I was 9 years old when I did it.
You've literally hunted a lion.
I've literally done this, right? I was there.
Yeah.
And I was with them. But what's interesting is the mothers and the fathers are not with the kids ever, all day, right? Usually the oldest kid is in charge of the other kids.
Yeah.
Right? You'll see like a 9 or 10-year-old girl with a baby on her hip doing stuff like cutting firewood and making food, and she is responsible for the other kids the entire time. Like the parents are doing things, right? Like the women are with the elders doing whatever they do, and the men are off hunting or getting the boys ready for manhood or whatever it is. They're teaching them what to do. And America is so, you ever heard the term culture shock? Like people go somewhere and get culture shock. Totally. Culture shock is not when you go there. That's how most of the world operates. Culture shock is when you come back to America and you see how we live versus them. And you're like, oh my God, we are the different ones. Mm-hmm. And when I have the things I've seen growing up, like you talked about Japan, those are just like 3-year-old kids all the time are alone. And I was in downtown Tokyo. Like I lived in Ikebukuro, and these kids would just be walking down the street by themselves. 5 3-year-olds going to 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
There's like 32 million people in Tokyo.
Yeah.
So like I feel like America is the backwards ones.
So somebody remind me, we need to come back to this topic on another issue, but the issue of safetyism, because I want to share a stat. I'm not going to share it right now. This is what you call a teaser. We're going to tease this so somebody comes back to hear the show. The odds of a kid getting kidnapped from the front yard of their own home, I could not believe how unlikely that is. But there was a big freak out in the 80s with these new TV shows and all of that kind of stuff. America's Most Wanted was a big show that took off from there. And granted, there have been some things like that that have happened, but social contagion took over and everybody freaked out about the safety of everything. So, all right, that is going to do it for this week's episode of Hunt the Lion. Hopefully we have our theme song dialed in for next week. Please remember to repost, share. We'll get you a little swag pack with a Game Changers hat, t-shirt. Don't forget it's December 1st. That is the appropriate day to put the tree and lights up, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Hold the line.
Hold the line. Okay. All right. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we will catch you next time on Hunt the Lion. God bless you.